My name is Trish Moiko-Tobin, and I'm the editor-in-chief of Ladue News. For many years now, the Ladue News Charity Awards has been our way of calling attention to the people and places who are working to better the community, one St. Louisan at a time. As you know, there are hundreds of agencies and organizations that make it their mission to fill a need in the community, be it by providing a steady job for someone who may need special training or by working as an advocate for the area's homeless. This year's 9 finalists and winners exemplify what it truly means to be a good citizen of the community. Here are their stories.
Boys Hope, Girls Hope really aims to combat poverty through education. So what we do is we partner with community resources and other schools. We work to identify academically capable and motivated kids to try to get them on the path to and then support them through college. Everything is to prepare kids for and orient them to the college experience that they really otherwise wouldn't have exposure to. Probably the biggest impact that this organization has for our scholars is that we really change the trajectory of families. These kids are often the first to graduate high school and almost always the first to graduate college. When our kids are able to, and their grades permitting, which, once they make grade, make age, all of our scholars have jobs. One of our board members is a retired founding member of Edward Jones, and he runs seminars for interviews with our kids because he hired a lot of people and he can really give them tips. A big part of our program is also the message of giving back, so all of our scholars participate in community service activities and volunteer as well. It's a great opportunity to really help kids that have every skill and every talent needed to succeed, but just don't have the circumstances or the opportunities. And it's great to be able to come to work every day and work at an agency with such great kids with such great potential and allow them to reach and achieve and surpass any goals that they'd ever experienced before, ever dared to have.
The need in St. Louis for housing is great. We are a magnet for people from all over the metro area as well as people outside of our state. The organization started almost 40 years ago as an operation to help single men. And over the years, the mission evolved to also include women and children. Eventually, for about 20 years, it was just women and children. And today we take complete families.
That's how we get over problems. We don't run from them, but we practice so we get better. You like playing basketball. Did you get as good as you are by not practicing?
The impact that Gateway 180 has had in the Metro St. Louis area has been great. We serve as many as 2,000 individual clients a year between our emergency shelter and our exterior housing programs. Our capacity for our emergency shelter used to be 110 beds per night. We recently expanded to 161 beds in order to help alleviate some of the pressure on the system to house more and more families. We have apartments where families live, and we're now working on moving people into really permanent housing, hopefully into home ownership. My hope for the future of our program, as well as for homelessness in St. Louis, is that there will be more large facilities that can help take the pressure off of the current facilities in the Metro St. Louis area, as well as some of the adjacent counties that currently have no opportunity to help people who are experiencing homelessness.
Well, Lafayette Industries started in 1976 by a group of parents whose children had nothing to do after they left special school district. So they got themselves together, formed a workshop, paid the rent on a building, got the business, and put 16 people to work in Valley Park, and that's how we got started. Well, the need that Lafayette Industries is fulfilling in the St. Louis area is a desperate need for full-time employment for adults with developmental disabilities. Now, that's a wide range of people, because only 2% of people with disabilities have full-time employment. So there's a tremendous need. We ourselves employ 370 people, but we have 160 on the waiting list. Not only are we providing full-time employment, it significantly changes the lives of the people, improves their quality, their dignity, gives them a sense of purpose, and also enables them to live independently. A lot of people ask me, what does the organization mean to me personally? Well, personally, I really enjoy employing people, giving people a job. Now, a job may not be a panacea for all that's wrong, but it comes 90% close. It's no different than you and I. If you have a job, you have a sense of purpose, and that's the beginning of getting your whole life together.
The mission of Mideast Area Agency on Aging is to assist people through the journey of aging. And what we do is provide services and programs for persons over age 60 for their caregivers to be able to remain safely and independently in the community as long as possible. We cover the 4 counties of St. Louis County, Jefferson, Franklin, and St. Charles. Within this 4-county area resides the largest number of older adults in the state of Missouri. We do a great deal of information for services such as Medicare. We're navigators for the Affordable Care Act, and we're also working with veterans who want to remain in their own homes rather than going to a nursing home. It's awfully confusing to navigate the system of aging services in this state. It's hard to know where to turn for which services and who to trust. We are an unbiased source of information. When we first started, we were primarily doing meals at the senior centers, and now we do Meals on Wheels for persons who live in their homes and are homebound. So we also have 22 senior centers in the 4-county area, and we provide information, blood pressure checks, blood sugar checks, exercise programs, things that can help people do better physically. The cost of services are going up and the dollars just aren't, and the population is growing. People are living longer. They want to stay in their homes as long as possible, and we have the system that can help people do that.
Well, the organization was founded in 1910, so that's over 100 years ago, by a group of Jewish women, and they established the United Order of True Sisters. So they did a variety of things over the years, including a rehab hospital, cancer support services, services for the blind, and ultimately we've come to the point where we serve children with learning disabilities. So in St. Louis currently we serve over 800 children with learning disabilities, 100 in the Miriam school, and that's ages K through 8th grade, and then over 700 in the communities. I think we really fill the holes in the community for children that need services for learning disabilities. I think the private schools and the public schools do a better and better job serving these kids, but we sometimes come in and we fill the holes. So if they have a hard time getting the services they need in their public or their private school, they often will turn to Miriam School for full-time services, or to the Learning Center to provide those services like tutoring, occupational therapy, and speech therapy that they may not be getting in their school. The impact is, over the years, has been huge, and it's only growing. We know we're sometimes the only place that children can turn to, and they depend on the support of the volunteers to be involved. Another really important role that volunteers play in the community is our switching post, which is our resale shop on Big Bend. Hundreds and hundreds of hours of volunteers makes that run. And annually, we net about $300,000 from that store every year, and all that money goes to support tuition assistance here. I think in terms of Miriam, we will continue to try to fill those holes in the community. Right now, the demand is great, and we only see it growing.
Shakespeare Festival started in the late 90s. A group of civic leaders got together and they had an idea. They chose Forest Park, this site that we're standing on right now. And that first season, 2001, we produced Romeo and Juliet. And they did 10 performances. They had no clue how many people were going to show up because they didn't sell tickets. 33,000 people came to 10 performances that first year. Since then, that first season, it was 10 free performances, only just one event in a park. Now we are in the schools, in the streets, in the park, over 250 public performances a year to over 100,000 patrons and students. We are in over 100 schools, reaching 20,000 young people, not just about Shakespeare, but about character building, about what it means to be a human. The stories are universal. What's most important about Shakespeare is that he's not just telling the stories of one particular class of people. I mean, this is the playwright who gives us plays where you hear the grave digger and the king, the countess and the chambermaid. There is a breadth of humanity that happens in Shakespeare's work. Shakespeare Festival, for me, is really about accessibility. It's about community. There are no gates here. There are no tickets to pick up. This isn't just about Shakespeare, but it's about community building. It's about making St. Louis a better place to live. The future of Shakespeare Festival is really, really bright, and I'm excited about where we want to take this festival. There are only 12 free professionals in the country like this. We're already right now one of the best attended in the country, and we want to be one of the best.
Southside was founded in 1886 by a group of 15 Unitarian women who saw moms taking their kids to work in unsafe conditions and felt really strongly about creating a safe place for them to be. So they founded Southside Day Nursery, and our mission has really stayed the same. Southside provides really high quality early childhood education, early intervention, and family support to children ages 6 weeks to 5 years old in South St. Louis who could not afford to access these services if it weren't for Southside. Our impact in the greater St. Louis area really involves getting kids as ready as possible to enter school. They're ready to learn, they're ready to make friends, they're curious, they're problem solvers, and they're really on track to be successful in elementary school and beyond. To me, Southside is a place where children can come and families can come and they know they're going to be safe, they're going to be well cared for, and on top of that, they're going to receive a wonderful education. I would like to see Southside increase our impact in the community even more in the coming years. We'd want to serve more children, more families, have an impact on the early childhood landscape, help other programs be able to provide the same level of quality in their services as we are so that we can help more children and more families in our area.
Voices for Children is part of a national organization called Court Appointed Special Advocates, or CASA. And that got its start in Seattle in the 1970s when a judge who was hearing family court cases knew that he just didn't have enough information from the child's perspective to feel good about the major decisions he was making in a child's life. We are the only agency in the St. Louis area whose sole mission is to advocate for abused and neglected children in foster care by representing their best interests both in the courtroom and in the community. Once a child enters foster care, many of their major life decisions are being made in a courtroom, and many other decisions are being made in community settings such as their school or their residential facility. And there's a guardian ad litem or an attorney who's appointed to represent their best interest, and we pair that attorney with a community volunteer to make sure that their voice is truly heard. I believe that the work that we do has the impact of creating healthy and thriving children that are in foster care, which in turn creates healthy and thriving parents that end up having their own children and their own families, and we have a true opportunity to break the cycle of abuse and to see that the children that are in foster care are safe, achieve permanency, but also that all of their needs for well-being are being met. So this is truly an opportunity to impact the overall St. Louis community as well as the individual life of a child.
Wings of Hope started here in St. Louis a little over 50 years ago. Four businessmen were approached by a missionary who had an airplane and was delivering humanitarian service. That airplane had fabric wings and was being eaten by animals. So they said, we can help you out, and got an airplane with metal wings, and 53 years later, we're still in the business. Wings of Hope is a humanitarian services organization. We deliver airborne logistics to people in very remote areas. Here domestically, we have a medical air relief and transport program where we have transported hundreds of patients over the years who need medical treatment to some of the finest medical facilities in the Midwest. Many of these patients are young kids with really severe medical challenges, birth defects, and they require repeated treatment, and we can do that for them and do it at no cost. But Wings of Hope has made a difference around the world. In the over 50 years of Wings of Hope, we've deployed over 150 airplanes around the world that were sent to provide humanitarian relief. We also have operated our medical air relief and transport program for nearly a dozen years here in St. Louis. We see Wings of Hope as being able to grow our services over time. Internationally, we try to assess the situation, determine what's needed, and then build the requisite support for them. In the U.S., currently the medical air relief and transport program is only here in the Midwest and St. Louis. So over time, with more support, more donor generosity, we could take the program more broadly in the U.S.
As you've seen, each of these worthy organizations is deserving of their time in the spotlight. On behalf of Ladue News, I'd like to thank every staff member, every board member, and every volunteer who represent our Charity Award honorees. Thank you for all you do to make our community a better place.